Hello, this is a film for women who are trying to cope with their partner's ex or their partner's children that are not their children. This is a very difficult situation because what happens is you meet the man of your dreams, he's absolutely wonderful, and he doesn't just come with his own baggage of perhaps his parents, he comes with a baggage of an entire family that are not yours, that he is still to some level responsible for. And it's kind of tricky because you want to support him in the fact that he has this, and yet you also want to be the entire centre of his universe. You want to be completely the apple in his eye. You want to be the person that he is putting first. And I hate to break this to you, but that's just not going to be possible. Why? Because men compartmentalise love in a way that women don't. So let's look at it this way. When a woman loves, she loves somebody in a complete whole. There's like a wholeness to it. So when she loves somebody, she loves them in a complete whole. So women see life as a whole. And so when you say, I love you and you are the thing that is in my life, the most amazing thing, women will see kind of like a triangle in a sense, with them at the top and everything else that is going on in their lives below on the triangle. Men see things in boxes, in parts. So they will see the compartment of relationship, the compartment of family, the compartment of work, the compartment of hobbies. And so they may say, you are absolutely the number one of this compartment. You won't be the number one of the entire thing, because men will split things up into different parts. Now I know this is a massive generalisation here, and some men are different and men do different things. But in actual fact, I think it's quite important for for women to realise how men really traditionally look at things. Because if they look at things slightly differently, then it can cause an awful lot of confusion when a man says, yes, you are absolutely the top of my world, and the woman says, but that's not how I see being at the top of your world. So a little bit like when you say, I love you, and your capacity of love is a pint glass and someone else's capacity of love is a shot glass. It can be a little bit confusing when you're thinking that their capacity of love is a pint glass. So the thing is if a man has had a family with somebody else, he is biologically connected to them. Very much like how a woman will release oxytocin in the brain when she's breastfeeding or for her own children. A man has a similar connection to the woman who he brought children into the world with, and to those children. So the thing is to find a way of you being able to say, okay, so he has this life. He has this life and he has me. And to find a way to be able to interconnect yourself into that life without compromising yourself too strongly. And this is the difficult thing, because you're going to have to compromise, but don't compromise if it's painful or making you feel like you're not being your authentic self. So we need to be able to open ourselves up to be able to understand that he is in this situation, and either we can live with the entire situation or we can't. The worst thing that we can ever do is give him advice, is say, I don't like the way that your ex speaks to you. I think that you need to tell her blah, blah, blah. And you need to say that you need to be able to have access to the kids and da, da, da. And you need to be able to tell her because he will go la, 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 la. Because men are amazing at being able to cut out what you might describe as being white noise. There has actually been scientific tests on teenage boys that a teenage boy cannot hear white noise and a teenage girl can. Now the reason for this is men will focus upon something in order to be able to attain it. So in a sense it's a little bit like the hunt. A man needs to be able to focus on the hunt to be able to kill the stag or whatever it is, going back to the days when we used to actually hunt our own food instead of going to supermarkets. So what happens is a man can tune out anything that he doesn't want to listen to. Now when that happens, a woman just escalates, usually escalating in pitch, escalating in tone, and they describe this as nagging, and we describe that as, well, I wouldn't be nagging if you were listening. So then what ends up happening is we get into conflict. So a man is not going to listen when you're telling him something in a masculine way. And whenever you're telling him anything, it's going to come across as being a competitive masculine head knock. The way to do it is to talk about your feelings. Yes, that's scary, isn't it? We're going to talk about our feelings. So we're going to actually have to say, when this happens, I feel like that. So we're coming from a level of vulnerability. So it's not a level of blame. Like, when this happens, you make me feel like this. It's not like that. It's basically saying that you want your needs met, and your needs are, I need to feel special and important in your life, despite the fact that you also have other special and important things that you are responsible for, and that responsibility and choice are two different things. That you choose me and you love me and you want to be with me, but you are obligated to fulfill something that you committed to. And you wouldn't want him to not fulfill that obligation. In actual fact, you wouldn't want that not to be him. You would love him less if he didn't care about this so much. So it's really important to be able to come from a space where you can talk about what it is that you need without believing that you need to correct what he's doing. Then he can juggle both, because you're being really, really clear about what the message is that you're trying to tell him. You're trying to say, I feel. And what I want to feel is this. And if you can make me feel this whilst fulfilling your obligations, we're all going to be happy. But if you keep telling him not to fulfill his obligations because you believe that therefore he'll switch and start giving all of that to you, the opposite is more than likely to happen. And he'll switch and go for the thing that shouts the loudest. And the thing that shouts the loudest is going to be the thing that he feels responsible for. The reason why I wanted to record this is because this comes up over and over again in my clients, and it's something that I wanted to address, especially at this time when we're looking at women and how women need to be able to interact with each other. I think it's really important that we're able to open our hearts and express how we feel on a much more connected level.